and also to Chair Cantwell for the work that she has done in this space, as well as her staff and the staff of the full committee. The importance of this conversation and having a coming together, if you will, of spectrum policy could not be more immediate, with an upcoming deadline that must be met. Spectrum is a limited natural resource, and the challenges are many. We have spectrum challenges across the industry, government, technology, policy, and politics. And when we don't find solution, those challenges can become a national crisis. And I hope that those last two words get the attention of those that they have not yet or don't see the reauthorization in that way. Licensed and unlicensed spectrum underlays the broadband network that enables us to communicate with friends and family, work, and learn from our homes and utilize telehealth, but that are also used for national security purposes. It matters and it depends so greatly on how these resources are managed and how we can coordinate to make better use of them. Spectrum helps us respond to floods and wildfires and other natural disasters. It even allows us to see the deepest stars and explore the origins of our universe through the very large array in places like central New Mexico. This hearing will consider the many challenges we face as we manage this essential and limited resource. There are many things to consider, including commercial challenges in identifying privately licensed spectrum bands to ensure that supply meets the demand, bureaucratic challenges between federal agencies, each with critical missions, negotiating how to best use the spectrum, and technical and engineering challenges, the solutions to which might enable more spectrum sharing and require closer coordination. We also have policy challenges. Many uses of spectrum do not have a clear market value, nor should they. It is impossible to put a price on national security, on public safety, or on promoting innovation through unlicensed spectrum or scientific research. And finally, we have political challenges. Spectrum is one of the few policy areas under our committee's jurisdiction that generates revenue. To date, these auctions have raised over $230 billion for the federal government. We have important decisions to make, not just on spectrum policy, but on how new revenue might open doors and support other critical priorities in the United States and abroad. The authority Congress granted to the Federal Communications Commission to conduct spectrum auctions expires on September 30th. The future of spectrum depends on the decisions we make in this committee and the conversations we will have today. Congress must act to ensure the spectrum use best meets the public interest, and I believe spectrum spectrum revenues should be devoted in part to updating our 911 systems and promoting digital equity, building on the work of Chair Cantwell and Senators Schatz and Markey during the C-band auction. But we must also do more to ensure the way we are using and allocating spectrum, providing equity. Innovative auctions, structures, efforts like the CBRS and Tribal Priority Window have demonstrated that spectrum policy can promote competition and be tailored to meet the needs of rural areas. Increasing participation can allow our tribes and pueblos to exercise their sovereignty on the airways over tribal lands. I'm excited by the progress we've already made. Last week, the House cleared a bipartisan bill extending FCC spectrum auction authority. The bill also restored NTIA as the lead agency for spectrum decisions by including my Spectrum Innovation Act, which I introduced with Ranking Member Thune here in the Senate. And while I support the progress on that bill in the House, I believe we must go further. Yesterday, a day before this hearing, Chairwoman Rosenworcel and Administrator Davidson signed an updated Memorandum of Understanding that structures how their two agencies resolve spectrum challenges. This MOU reaffirms NTIA and FCC's roles as the sole agencies in charge of managing our spectrum resources. It increases coordination and addresses many of the challenges for managing broadbands and other bands, that have a significant federal agency stakeholder. Finally, the MOU promotes better coordination and emphasizes evidence-based policymaking, something we need more of here in Congress. Ranking Member Thune and I structured this hearing towards that goal. There's a broad interest from our colleagues across the United States Senate and many who have been working on this issue during their entire time in the United States Senate. Our consensus panel of four witnesses brings together experts in the field of spectrum management with many years of experience either managing these resources directly or engaging in the broader debate at a national scale. With that, Mr. Chairman, I want to introduce our witnesses, but I'm going to go to you first, sir.